Star one. Trip of a lifetime. Let's fucking go. Alright, so today I'm going to talk about open mics. Just the open mic scene in general. So, open mics was a trigger word for me in rap because I started rapping and then I was put in touch with someone talked about shows, and like it was, you buy 5 tickets for $10 and you're supposed to sell them for $20, and then that's what it is. I make $50 off of it and he makes $50 off of it. And I don't like doing that because I don't want to bring people to shows. And to me, like what I did when I did those shows was I just brought, like, I roll around Dola everywhere, you know what I mean? I bought the tickets and I just paid $50 to perform. And then you pay $50 to perform in front of nobody, other than the people, like everyone watches the people that they brought, like that. Let's say the other artist sold their tickets, the people will come to see his performance and then they leave. So it's like when I'm up there, like there's really only a few random people up there who are actually there. So it was whack. I was like, yo, like this ain't doing nothing for me, like performing at these shows. Like I did it like twice, a couple different promoters, and I don't blame the promoters because it's like they pay for the venue or whatever. I don't know how it goes, but like they have expenses, you know what I mean? So like it's not like they're caking off it and shit and they're trying to fucking profit off of like the event they're putting together. But like my theory on everything is, if you don't have an audience, then you don't have a show. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a promoter, like, it's not up to the talent to get the audience, yo. I'll perform anywhere for free as long as you could get the people there, and then you make the money off of the people. I just want random people to perform in front of. Like, that's the whole thing. And, like, my whole thing is I'll perform for free anywhere as long as you have the people. Or even if you don't have people, just provide me with the stage and don't charge me and I'll perform. You know what I mean? But I don't like performing for money and shit. Like, I'm at these shows and I'm like, yo, this show ain't doing nothing for me. Like, it's not doing nothing for me right now to be performing at this show. And it was when I started doing the open mics for rapping when I was early in rapping, not early, but like much earlier in the process. And I'm at these open mics standing around doing nothing at a bar. And I'm like, yo, my time, I was working on verses and tracks at that time. I'm like, yo, my time could be better spent at home working on my craft. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting any better on my craft at this show. And that's something I'm going to bridge back to comedy. Like, I mean, I've been writing comedy for 2.5 years already now, which is crazy. And like I've gotten a lot better at writing my bits and shit. But like I feel like when I'm writing, I've developed a lot more working on my craft at home than I have on stage. Like on stage, I get more comfortable on stage, like just getting on stage and performing. And that's basically what it is with rap. Like with rap, and like there's more elements to comedy with the stage than there is rap. But the comedy elements to the stage that aren't like rap are stuff that I'm not looking to do, yo. Like I'm not looking to do crowd work. I'm not looking to be spontaneous on crowd. I say there's 2 different types of comedy. Like there's comedy club comedy and theater comedy. Theater comedy is bits, in my opinion. Comedy club comedy is like, I'm going to interact with you. Like I'm going to be spontaneous up here. I'll risk bombing to try to maybe create magic in the moment and shit. I'll walk around with a drunk audience, you know what I mean? I'll go back and forth. That's not what I do with comedy. I like to create bits and then I like to perform them. Like I like performing them on stage, but like mainly I like to create bits and then people want to hear them on stage. Like, yeah, I get myself on stage and like I get more comfortable on stage, but like I'm filming all my bits right now and you could see like if I could do the same bit a month spread apart, and it's not like it's like, oh wow, you could see how much better he's getting. Like it's not like I'm hitting a wall with comedy just because like the bits are the bits, you know what I mean? So the punchline of it is you get better like if you're bringing pre-written material to the stage. I'm not getting better at I'm not getting better at the craft on the stage and shit. You know what I mean? And like, that's what I was noticing with rap all along. So like rap was like, it was just, a trigger word for me to hear open mics. I'm like, what open mics? Like, there are no open mics. Like, I'm not paying $50 to fucking have an unprogressive night and shit where like nothing gets accomplished. So what the difference, it was like places won't let you run open mics, like rap open mics, but they will comedy. Like, they don't want a rap show coming in. Like, they're just, people don't want to like go out and watch rappers. Plus it brings an urban vibe, and like people don't like that shit. And like people don't mind stand-up comedy at their bar and shit. Like, it's more of like a bar type thing anyway. So like it's let people run comedy open mics. So like in comedy there are open mics, and specifically in Austin it is absolutely fucking incredible how many open mics there are. Every single, like, there's Austin, Texas Comedy, I think it is, on Instagram. They post all the mics every single day, and like there's like 5 mics every single night, 5 or 6 mics, and every single mic has like 20, 30, 40 people at them, like fucking signing up. I'm like, yo, there must be like 500 people down here doing some level of open mic comedy, yo. Like, it's crazy. Maybe even at least 500. It is insane how many people are down here doing comedy and shit. But there is mics to do it here. Like, it's different than it was in with rapping, you know what I mean? Like, there's opportunity, and what I like is some of the rap mics are mixed mics, so you could rap, and I much prefer rapping and shit. But the Creek and the Cave is the home base down. If you're an open mic comedian in Austin, Texas, then the Creek and the Cave is basically your home base. It is unbelievable how great the Creek and the Cave is to the open mic comedians here, yo. They let us just fucking chill in the back outside area and just chill. Like, no matter, like, that's basically, if you, like, there's comedians who be chilling up there every single day. Like, that's just their hangout spot. They have open mics a few times a week and shit. The open micers run the open mics, and they also let these same open micers run the smaller shows that they have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and shit. The Creek and the Cave is a great comedy room. Like, it has a great feel. It's a it's a nice, really nice stage. It's a perfect size for stand-up comedy. It's like, it's intimate to like everyone. Like, the person on stage could see everyone in the room. It's not too big, so the voice doesn't bounce, like, doesn't float around, travel around. Like, the Vulcan, like, and like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't be going to shows. Like, I don't go anywhere as a spectator, but the Vulcan is the worst fucking venue ever, yo. The worst. Because like, when I bought Kill Tony tickets a couple of times, you get general admission. When you get general admission, you have to go upstairs, and you can't sit in the front row. It's all fucking reserved tables. You have to sit in this 5 tables in the back row. You have to get there early to get one of those 5 tables. If you get these 5 tables, you can't see the show, yo. You have to watch the show on a TV, yo. So I paid to see Rogan and Friends once, and I'm watching the show on TV, but listening to them on stage because I can't see them from my vantage point, yo. Like, that's terrible, yo. And like, then like the noise, like, it's not as intimate because it's 2 levels. The noise bounces around everywhere and shit. Like, it's not a good venue. That's why Rogan should open up a spot as soon as possible. But the Creek and the Cave is the perfect venue, and the amount of respect that they show the open micers is amazing, yo. But like, I'm not sure how that place isn't hemorrhaging money, yo. Like, every night I go there, the shows are just like fucking 5 people there and shit. It's open mics like barely bring in any commerce. Like, most of the open micers aren't there drinking and shit. Like, it's crazy. Like, but when you're have a place that revolves around stand-up, you do have to kind of give back to the open micers. There should just be a balance between how the Vulcan does nothing for open micers, and not just showing the Vulcan. It's just, I mean, like, if I was a venue, I wouldn't want to do nothing for open micers either, because like, it's just, but see, the Vulcan, they should have like an open mic, like Redman be doing a secret show there on Thursdays. They should have an open mic before or after the secret show and shit. Like, that would be nothing for them to do and shit. But yeah, the Creek and the Cave is too good to the comedians. Like, they're amazing to the comedians. So Like, I'm thankful the open mic scene exists here, but like, I even feel slightly lost, like when I'm out there hitting up open mics. Like, what am I looking to accomplish? And like what I'm mainly looking to accomplish is like basically just get my face out there, just like kind of become cool with the other open micers. Even though like I just fucking sit there like by myself, like I don't really talk to no one, like I'm starting to like kind of talk to people because people are like noticing that I'm a rapper. Like they've heard me rap now, and they like me through that and shit. But like I just sit there and mind my own business. So it's like I'm like trying to accomplish like building relationships, but I'm not even doing that. And like but what I was saying was my path doesn't go through open mics because my path goes through Tony Hinchcliffe. You know what I mean? And like my friends have said, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, okay, well, what other basket am I gonna put them in? You know what I mean? Because if I'm thinking that I'm gonna get my shit popping through doing open mic comedy down here, like I'm kidding myself. And like what I believe is there's a wave that's happening right now, and if you're a part of it, you will have a place in the Austin comedy scene 5 years from now. You know what I mean? But if it's the wave, like I'm looking to be a part of the wave, but like I'm not like. I'm not in the wave like that because like I'm just not building relationships, you know what I mean? But the eggs I'm putting my basket is that if Tony Hinchcliffe knows I'm out here doing it, he will show Rogan my YouTube channel. And like, yo, do I for 1 second think Rogan will not rock with me? There's not a chance in hell that if Tony Hinchcliffe brings Rogan to my YouTube channel and Rogan spends an hour on my YouTube channel, that Rogan is not instantly buying into me, especially now that like he could see the podcast and shit. Like, especially if he goes to my Instagram too and sees what my comedy looks like from the beginning, he's gonna like in the raps are what's gonna hit him the most. You know what I mean? Like, if Joe Rogan likes your music, there's no if Joe Rogan likes my music, yo. Like Joe Rogan is gonna be obsessed with my music, yo. So that's basically what I'm here for, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm going to the open mics, but I don't think that that's what my path is, you know what I mean? And like back to don't put your eggs in one basket. Well, I'd put my eggs. I don't have another basket to put them in. You know what I mean? So I found a basket to put them in. So I'm going to keep them in this basket. And then if they crack, they crack. You know what I mean? But I'll watch them crack before I pull my eggs out of the basket. You know what I mean? Like that shit would not make sense to me. So open micers here compared to what I used to see out in Kiltonio in Los Angeles, it's crazy. Like there's so much better out here. Yo, they were terrible out there. But like even out here, like it's just the open micers are good, but like it's a lot of them are up there with that same what I call it, that same tired ass bullshit. Like, and like what that same tired ass bullshit is, like Rogan like gets mad at Carlos Mencia for stealing jokes and shit. Like, and like if Carlos Mencia actually steals jokes, like that is disgusting. Like how you would want to steal jokes is crazy to me and shit. Like, and it's just how do you not think you would get caught? You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if like you're stealing jokes from like stamp that will never be seen at face a day, and like the person who created these jokes are no longer with us. So like they're like it's jokes a friend told you that like can never trace back to anybody. Then I can see like stealing someone's jokes, and Rogan's like, that was my friend too, and I know these were his jokes. And like Carlos Mencia is like, they're not his jokes. Like, how could you prove that they're his jokes? He passed away. Like then I can see stealing jokes, but like when you're taking them from active comedians, like that to me is crazy. Like it's the audacity of that, you almost have to respect it. You know what I mean? Like that shit's crazy. But like to me, like, and I agree with Rogan, like to come at Carlos Mencia for fucking stealing shit. Like, yeah, come at him. You know what I mean? Like hit him with that shit. But a comedian can't get that mad at Carlos Mencia for stealing your jokes if he could steal your jokes. If your jokes are stealable, then you're up there with that same tired ass bullshit, yo. And that like Tony Hinchcliffe be saying to people like when they're on the show, like, be yourself. Like you're not being yourself. And like people don't get when he's saying that. But like my shit, you can't steal my shit, yo. Like if you steal my shit, like you stole my shit. Like it's so original. I'm not saying my shit's the best, but it's me. You know what I mean? What everyone should do is strive to do is their jokes should be them. It should not be a joke that's stealable, yo. That's when you're just out there like fucking trying to fucking think of shit. And that's that corny ass shit, yo. Like that shit it's not gonna resonate. You know what I mean? You're not up there being the authentic artist. You're not bottling up what you are as a human being. And I mean, that's a big criticism of mine about what I see a lot with people who I think are funny, but some of their bits of shit. And that just happens when like you're just like trying to, when you're a comedian, like you have to do stand-up comedy, you know what I mean? Like you feel like you have to create, and you're not necessarily inspired, because like if you running around to mics all night, like you're not inspired. You're not sitting at the crib creating inspired shit, especially if you're working all day and then you're running out to mics at night. Like right now, I'm not creating no fucking comedy and shit because I'm mad busy and shit. Like when I'm running to these mics at night, and I don't even go to that many mics, but when I'm going there, like I'm working all day and I'm going to mics at night. Like, it's not like my creative juices are working and shit. And if you create comedy on stage, like, let's say, and like the micers, they hit up mad mics. Like, the same names are on every single list, like, each night. And, like, it's crazy. Like, fucking, like, it looks mad stressful. Like trying to figure out your spot here and your spot there and shit. But, if you do 3 or 4 spots a night, that's only 9 to 12 minutes. Even if you're the type of person who creates on stage, that's only 12 minutes at most of creating on stage fucking on a night. Like, if you just chill at your crib creating, like, you could fucking work for hours and shit. And like, all right, so the most glaring thing to me the first week that I did open mics down here was people at the open mics with ironed out bits. And like, I'm not knocking people going to open mics with ironed out bits, because that's what I do. You know what I mean? But like, so the first week, what I noticed, like the first mic I was at, I didn't even recognize people, but I would recognize their minute from Kill Tony. And then what I would see the same people that week at different mics with the same sets. And I'm not knocking it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, kind of like, I'll bring up why I mention it. But like, so what I think is just, it's the nature of comedy. You know what I mean? Like the problem, and one thing I'll say is like, if you go on Kill Tony, it should be an ironed out bit. You know what I mean? So like, there's no reason, if you bring a bit to Kill Tony, I wouldn't see you bringing it back to open mics. You know what I mean? Because like, to me, like, I could tell if someone's at an open mic with an ironed out bit that they keep redoing, or if it's a bit that they're working on. Like a rapper, like I could tell if it's a freestyle or a written. You know what I mean? So it's not like, and the point is, if you are on Kill Tony with the minute, then you bring it back to open mics. Like it was ironed out probably before you went to Kill Tony with it. Otherwise, you shouldn't brought to Kill Tony. You know what I mean? Because you should only be bringing out fully completed bits when you're on that major of a stage and stuff. Like if you wait in with your name in the bucket for that long, like go in with your best stuff. But so it's the nature of comedy. You know what I mean? Like in rap, if you do open mics, like if you go hard on the open mics in rap, you're going Friday and Saturday night, one mic each night every weekend. Like if you're doing 2 mics, like you're going super hard in rap. Like if you're doing 2 open mics a week, if you're doing 2 open mics a week with comedy, like you're barely doing it. Like that's what I'm doing, like a couple a week, barely, if even. And like I consider like barely even doing it and shit. And like the other thing is like you could rap every single week the same shit and like not feel like weird about it. But like comedy, like when you keep repeating the same bit over and over and over, like you kind of feel corny up there doing it and shit. So like what I would say is like, I respect everybody down here doing it. You know what I mean? If you down here trying, I respect you. But so like, I respect people who are out there like just going hard on the mics, doing like 15 a week. And then I respect people who also are like, fuck it, yo, like, I ain't even doing mics. Like those open mics ain't doing nothing for me. If it ain't a showcase, I ain't doing it. Like there's mad people that I know down here at the like in the open mic level that don't do open mics because they've probably been doing it for a few years and they're like, fuck it, like I ain't doing like open mics. Like it ain't doing nothing for me and shit. And like open mics could do stuff for certain people. Like it could do stuff for me right now. Like I should be hitting up more mics than I do, yo, because I have bits that I have 10, 11 different sets that I haven't even brought them all to stage because I'm just so lazy to go out in general, yo. So like I just want to chill at my crib all the time and shit and create the bits, and then like going out and doing it, I'm just fucking too, I'm like, I don't feel like going out to a bar right now, yo. Like that's what I don't really like doing my shit. And like I said, I like to stay on the road and shit. But I should be doing mics more. But so like the whole thing is like people doing the same ironed out bit. Like what is it accomplishing? That's what I don't get. Like it's one thing if you had open mics working on like sets and stuff. Like but like if you going out with the same ironed out shit, like what is it accomplishing unless you just have that much fun doing that set? And like the whole thing that I'm trying to hit on is like everyone like they out here because they say they love comedy. I'm not down that people love comedy, but like how much do you love doing that bit that you like must have done it hundreds of times between now and then, you know what I mean? So it's just like the whole thing is like what like the motive, you know what I mean? And like it's like I don't understand why hit up so many mics. That's the whole thing, you know what I mean? Like like unless you only creating on stage and you using that like to do it. But like I don't understand why Rogan like be the leader of that pack of you have to be on stage to like to get the real creation process. Like why can't people who are like been in the game be at their in their room working on their shit, like standing there like they're delivering it on stage without actually an audience? You know what I mean? Like you need the audience to let you know like what is funny or not. Like I don't really get why the whole thing is like you need to work shit out on stage and you can't work it out at home. Like I couldn't see someone criticizing my shit be like it sounds like you work it out at home. It doesn't sound like you work it out on stage. But that's because I just started out at home and I didn't start on the stage. You know what I mean? Like but that's also because that's what my flow would have been from the jump. Like my flow wasn't going to be like a stage flow. It was going to be more of like a vacuum type flow. Like I knew that from the beginning. So the point of doing why do you bring iron out bits to open mics is like when Tony asked him on Kill Tony, what do you do for fun? Everyone has the same response. Comedy. Everyone says comedy, and he hates that answer because he knows you do comedy for fun. He wants to know what else you do and shit. And like the point is like, what do people like about comedy? You know what I mean? Because like, and I like comedy. Like I like doing comedy. I don't like watching comedy, but I like doing comedy and shit. I'll tell you what I like about it in a little bit. But like, what necessarily do people like about comedy when they say I love doing comedy? And like, what I feel like the general response is, I love to make people laugh, which like to me is funny because like it's funny for mad reasons, but like I have friends who make people laugh on a daily basis who don't do comedy, you know what I mean? And like to me, like the comedy laughs, like even when people laugh at my shit, like when I get laughs, it still feels like manufactured laughs, you know what I mean? It's not as fun as killing in the moment. Like after I decided that I was going to do comedy, but before I started actually doing it, 2 times that I've killed in the moment, yo. Like this one time I was at like the barbecue spot that I go to down Cape Coral, Big Eight's. Shout out to Big Eight's barbecue. It's the best barbecue like outside Texas, you know what I mean? But like their shit's banging. And like I walked in one day and like I was going there like every day. The chick that works at register, she came up to me. She was like mad concerned. It was like her baby died when she was walking up to me. She was like, I just want to let you know we're all out of root beer. And like she had paused for a sec before she said root beer. I was like, oh my God, I thought you were going to say brisket. I almost had a heart attack. And she started like giggling, laughing. And like, it felt good. You know what I mean? Like it felt good killing the moment. Then like another time that like I noticed and shit was like at the doctor's office. I was there and like I needed an account information made for me. So the girl, she was like, all right, so this is your username. And then here's your password. 12345. I was like, ooh, good thinking. No one ever guessed that. And like, she started giggling. She was like, oh, you could change. I was like, I know, it's fucking around. And like, it felt good to like kill in the moment and shit. And then like another time is like I mentioned on the Lip podcast, I don't know which one dropped it first, but so like I mentioned once like someone was getting in the car and they were like uncontrollably thanking me. I was like, I mean, I'm only picking you up because of my job. They're like, pardon me? I was like, I mean, if you were my friend, I wouldn't be here right now to pick you up. And like, they didn't find it funny, but I killed to myself in that moment. I was cracking up my head. You know? I was like, yeah, it's so funny. But and then like now, like I do that shit again. Like when people are like uncontrollably thanking me, like sometimes I say it to them, but like it feels manufactured because it's like a written joke and shit. So like that's the whole thing against why do you love comedy? Like, because I love to make people laugh. Well, like it feels great to make people laugh, but more in the moment, it feels great to make people laugh. And some people are up on stage doing shit in the moment, you know what I mean? But like to me, like it's a risk to like be on stage doing stuff in the moment, trying to make people laugh. Like to me, like I don't think other than Dave Chappelle and like Tim Dillon, I don't think anybody's worthy of standing in front of me on stage spontaneously to make me laugh. Like, I mean, it's tough work, yo. Like that's tough work to stand there cause it's like, even if you're the type of person who could sit next to me and make me laugh, it's even like weirder on the stage where you're holding the microphone. Like it's so manufactured. Like to me, it feels like so. Like what I feel like people like about comedy the most is like a few things. And like another reason I'm point out like what do you love about comedy is like it don't look like everyone's at these mics having mad fun. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like people are enjoying chilling, socializing with their friends and stuff. But once the mic starts, like, everybody just does their spot and leave. It's not like I'm watching. Like, some people are there. They do love stand-up. But, like, most people aren't sitting through. It's the rare people. I'm one of the only ones who sits through the mics. I sit through because I wait until my name is called. You know what I mean? Like, most people, they just come before they know their name is about to be called. But I'm not at these mics like, look at these people like, wow, it just looks like they're having so much fun. It looks like everybody's bored as fuck. And then like who's about to go on stage? Like who's on deck thinking, oh my God, I cannot wait to go up there and just do what I love. You know what I mean? Like who's on deck thinking that shit? I feel like most people are on deck thinking like, I just want to get through it. Like Rogan be talking about that shit in the green room, trying to get himself like psyched for the moment and shit. Like why you gotta get yourself psyched if this is what you love? You know what I mean? Like you should be pumped up like, yeah, I'm about to go on stage and do comedy. Like I can't wait for this shit. But like, I don't see anybody with that type of energy, and like I ain't knocking it, you know what I mean? Like, cause like to me, when I realized like years ago with rap, like I love rap, but like there's more to just. I love rap, but to a degree, I love comedy, but to a degree, like I love the creation, I love the self-expression process like the most. But like what I feel like the most people, what I personally love the most about these art forms is the purpose it creates. Like I'm trying to get myself out of the trap of life of working every single day, 50 hours a week. And I'm trying to build relationships that spawn off of me being an artist, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to get purpose off of these crafts, and that's basically what I love the most about it. Like I'm out here meeting people who are coming up to me like, yo, you're Sternworm, right? Like that shit's happening. Like I love that. I love people starting a conversation like, oh yeah, I've heard you rap, you know what I mean? Like that's how I want all my conversations to spawn out of. Like I once had someone was trying to tell me, like I was trying to tell him like, yo, I ain't trying to go out to bars unless I'm going out to bars as Sternworm. And they were like, you could just, my name is Kevin. They were like, just be Kevin, yo. You don't have to be, don't feel pressure to be Sternworm. I was like, I don't feel no pressure to be Sternworm. I was like, I just want to go, like, if I'm going out, I want everyone to know who the fuck I am. I want people to be like, oh, that's Sternworm over there. I want people to know exactly who I am when I walk into a bar. So, like, I don't have to start no corny ass, like, small talk conversations. All the conversations could be, like, real. Like, you know what you're getting with me. You know what my brand of being a human being is and shit. Like, I love the idea of creating an existence off of the craft, you know what I mean? And then also, like, what do people like about, I feel like people like, and I feel like people enjoy doing stand-up. Don't get me wrong, it's not that. I feel like people like it when the sets go well. I feel like people feel good when people laugh and stuff. But, like, so another thing that is good off of the doing these things is like you going out socially, like there's a social network and you're performing, you know what I mean? So it's not like all y'all are just standing around a bar doing nothing. Like there's a common goal and shit that everyone's pushing towards and shit. So like I think that's cool and shit. But so like it just I don't like, do people really love this shit as much as they say they do? Like, that's just, like, my opinion. Like, that's... And I think I love doing it, like, as much as... Like, I don't love doing as much as anybody. Like, I love the creation process, I feel like, more than a lot of people out here. I feel like a lot of people love the stage process more than I do and shit. And I can see people love doing it if, like, you're just the type of person who just loves to be stupid in the moment and shit and fucking... And you like to go on stage and, like, fucking wing it and shit. Like, and then, like, you're like, oh, I enjoy open mics because it's 12 minutes every single night that I get to, like, wing it and shit. But, like, I know people feel redundant going around doing the same bit over and over. Like, you got it. Like, you can't find that much fun. Like, I don't like doing the same bit in front of the same person, yo. Like, if I seen someone there that already saw my bit another time, like, I'll switch it up. I've done that. Like, I'll switch up because, like, I don't like doing the same bit in front of the same people. But I feel so self-conscious about my bits. Like, my main two bits, like, not as much, but, like, the other ones I even want to do, like, I need motherfuckers to know Sternworm the rapper before, like, I hit them with these bits. I want you to know the person before I hit you with these other bits. Otherwise, if you just like, who's Sternworm, when you're watching these other bits, you don't get the full effect, I feel like. Maybe I just don't get humor and shit, or I just have I don't listen well, but, like, I just don't think stand-up comedy is that funny and shit. So, like, and it's, like, funny because, like, I was at a mic the other day, and this one chick, it was unbelievable. She was crying, laughing at everything, yo. And even the comedians, it was like the way she was laughing was like heckling a couple of the comedians. They didn't even believe in their shit as much as this chick believes in their shit, yo. And, like, that's what, like, a comedy room is to me. Like, a bunch of hers put in the same room and shit. And she was barely laughing when I was up there with my server a bit. No, I did my rap a bit that day. Like, not even laughing, yo. And, like, these people have different senses of humor than me. You know what I mean? Like, this girl, she probably grew up with her pops, like, telling her jokes and stuff. So, like, now she sits around, hears jokes, and she thinks it's hilarious and shit. But, like, she hears someone being, like, humorous, and she don't get the humor. And, like, maybe I'll get humor. Maybe she gets humor better than I do and shit. But, like, it's over the top the way some people laugh. And you go to some of these open mics, it's always like one person at the mic, like, cracking up at, like, everything and shit. And, like, it goes back to, like, you find out what's funny on stage. Like, you're letting this girl tell you what's funny, you know what I mean? Like, and when it's, I think my shit's funny, and, like, whether people laugh or not, I'm always gonna think my shit's funny. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'll believe when people don't laugh at my shit that my shit doesn't work well on stage, but I'll always believe my shit's funny. And, like, I'm not letting an audience tell me whether it's funny or not. You know what I mean? And, like, if one audience laughs at your stuff and one audience doesn't, like, okay, like, what if the first audience didn't laugh? And then you're not gonna do that same joke in front of another audience? Like, when open micers will be at an open mic, and, like, I think the open micers are good out here. This is not a discount against open micers. It's just what open mic comedy sounds like to me. They'll be at the open mic and they'll be like, all right, like, this is a new joke. And, like, when you're about to do a joke, don't even tell me it's a new joke. Just fucking do the joke. You know what I mean? Like, when you tell me it's a new joke, like, you already not going to get me to laugh. You know what I mean? But so no one's been laughing at anything. It's because some of these open mics have people cracking up, and some of them, like, have, like, specifically, like, the one I go Tuesday nights, Creek and Cave, it's just a comedian mic. The only people there are comedians. So at this mic, I swear, I'll always hear comedians be like, all right, this is a new joke. No one's been laughing at anything, and then they'll do that joke, no one laughs, and they're like, yeah, I guess I gotta toss that one. Like, no one's laughing at anything. Like, I mean, you're gonna toss the joke just because these people laughing at nothing didn't laugh at the joke. Like, have some faith in it. You know what I mean? You really not believing that shit that much? Like, there's no one laughing at anything. And there's what bothers me, this is what bothers me. Like, that shit don't bother me. I just find that shit funny, yo. What bothers me is open micers who will stand up on the open mic and they'll berate the audience for not laughing at that shit. And that's one I be like, yo, your shit's not laugh out loud funny. And I'm not saying my shit's laugh out loud funny. I don't think 99% of the shit's laugh out loud funny. And I don't think 99% of stand-up comedy in general, it's not against open mic down here, it's against stand-up comedy in general. But I don't think 99% of it stand-up is laugh out loud funny. But don't berate the audience for not laughing. You know what I mean? You were just in the audience not laughing at the other stuff, yo. Like, that's how it was, yo. Like, that's how it is, yo. Like, they get on stage and then berate when they were just the audience. Like, it's funny to me. But no, I like the open micers down here. I can't stress enough. It's what open mic comedy is. And like, and I didn't mention before, like, what do I actually love about comedy? Because I love comedy. Like, what I love about comedy is I love What was this real quick? Okay. What I love about comedy is mainly the creation process. Like, I could do that shit forever. And, like, so I love comedy as just another way to express myself, another scope on the spectrum of trying to show you who I am and shit. And then I love the purpose it creates. Like, without this fuels my life, you know what I mean? Like, without chasing something, life is boring. Like, I'm stuck in a 9 to 5 type job and shit. Like, lift, like, I want to do this, you know what I mean? I want to not only do I want to reach success, but I want to chase success. I want to feel how it feels to wake up with purpose every single morning. That's what I love the most about these art forms, like feeling like oh, you're going for it in life. Like, that's what I love. I love my bits, so I love getting my shit off. Like, when I'm up there, like, I'm always ready to get the fuck out of there before my name gets called. But once my name gets called, I love once I'm on stage in the bit, like, unless it's people, I'm at a mic where it's been people cracking up and stuff and they're not laughing at my stuff, and like, they never will because the people crack up and stuff don't laugh at my stuff, then I'm in my head. But if it's just comedians, I like it when it's just comedians who are just there, when there's no one laughing at anything. Like, that's what people hate. That's what I like. Let me just get my shit off. You know what I mean? Let me just stand here and get my shit off. So I like getting my shit off in front of an empty room. And that's another thing that's funny. Like, why I think open mics are like the purpose of open mics. Like, the purpose is to do it in front of people, but I even like doing it in front of people because I like doing it in front of just the open micers, because then, like, I feel self-conscious when I'm in front of people. So it's like, what's the point of doing the open mics if you're doing it in front of nobody? But I like doing it in front of nobody anyway. But for me, the purpose of doing it in front of nobody is still to get comfortable, like, being on stage doing it. Like, that's the main thing. Like, getting used to being on stage doing stand-up comedy and shit. Like, that's why I need mics more than other people right now. And then I also love it because it's a way to get out of the house. Like, I mean, I don't ever leave the apartment, yo. Like, I leave, but, like, not socially. Like, I don't like doing nothing social. So this is a way to drag myself out socially while I still perform and shit. So, like, that's it. And then what I don't like the most about the open mics is dragging myself out of the house. You know what I mean? I hate going out socially. So, like, I hate that. And I hate that it fucking interrupts my Lyft driving during the day and shit. I don't like sitting watching comedy for 3 hours. Like, I mean, I could watch people's sets for, like, a few of them, but, like, I get bored as fuck watching them. And then after all that, like, I've been sitting there pounding beers. Now it's like midnight, 11 o'clock. Now it's my time to go up. Like, I don't want to go up at that point. Like, I just want to fucking go home and shit. So, like, I don't want to do it and shit. And then, feels like I'm seeking people's approval. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like I'm seeking other people's approval when I'm up there. Like, it's like, do you like my shit? Like, I think my shit's funny whether you like it or not. I've been said that. So, like, the fact that, like, I don't like going up there and just, like, being like, oh, if you don't laugh now, then, like, now I feel less not confidence, but, like, assured of that I'm funny and stuff. Like, yo, my shit's funny. You don't find it funny? Word. No one ever finds me funny, yo. I find me funny. I think I'm mad funny, yo. Like, whatever, yo. And then, yeah. I forget what I was talking about before I went into that tirade of what I like and what I don't like about comedy. But what do I benefit from the open mics? Like, getting my name out there. Like, it's just like people knowing who Stern Worm is and shit. And, like, getting myself out there socially, because that's what I have to do. Getting here, like, how I sounded to Mike doing the bits, because that's different than, like, if I'm at, like, I always say, like, mics pick up, like, more. Like, if you want a stage mic, it's easier to talk to just rap over a beat than it is to rap into a studio mic. And it's easier to rap into studio mic than it is on stage mic. I don't know why. It's just, like, how it reads. So, like, if you don't pronounce your shit, like, you will really know on stage and shit. So, like, hearing how I sound into mic, like, when I recorded and shit, like, that's a benefit. Gets me more comfortable hearing my name called, because I get really nervous hearing my name called. Like, that's another thing. Like, people get nervous before they do comedy. Like, mad people be doing that shit in, like, professional media. So, like, how are you gonna be funny, like, if you going out there like just a nervous person? Like, when you nervous, like, I know once you get comfortable you could do it, but, like, that's another reason why comedy is counterproductive to being funny because like people are nervous up there and shit. Like, and like it's funny, it's crazy how many people would say bucket list to do stand-up comedy. Like I never had that in my life, like a bucket list to do stand-up comedy, but that breeds like nervous people on stage, and like you can't be funny when you're nervous. Like I seen a couple people who are like shaking when they're doing their bits, and like they had people laughing. I'm like, it's crazy that people are laughing. In my head, I think it's crazy people laughing. I feel bad for this person. He sounds like really nervous right now. You know what I mean? Like he's not being funny. He makes me like feel bad for him. He's not making me laugh and shit. So like the fact that like I like a benefit of open mics is hearing my name called, so I just get less nervous hearing my name called, because I'm always nervous when I hear my name called. I'm always a little nervous when I go up there, but like the bits and the rapping, it's all my comfort zone. So like once I get into the material, it's my comfort zone. Gives me more of a feel of if the timing is right. Like some of them, like I could hear like I'm like speeding shit up a little too much on like premise and stuff. Like that's where I notice like when I'm on my like stage, like I rush through premise a little bit. Like I'm good at taking my time when there's like a punch, and my shit barely has punchlines. But so like, yeah, I feel redundant like going around and like I said, I should be going around to more mics, but like I feel redundant, like doing the same shit, like doing the same bit over and over again at mics and shit. And like that's just like why I just don't understand why stand-up comedy, I mean open mics, is as much of a thing of like as much as it is. Like I would think like if you would get your feet wet, you would do the open mic thing, you would develop and stuff, but then I would think, and this is talk about ironed out bits. Like if you like to work shit out on stage, like obviously always work your shit out on stage and stuff. But like I would think if you like to go out there with ironed out bits, you would cook it up behind the scenes, and then once you have a new bit, that's when you would go around to different mics doing it and shit. But like I swear, like I bet people go around for years on end doing same material, and maybe not. Maybe it's just, but like the fact that I heard everybody shit on Kill Tony, and I heard them doing it when I seen them all the first time at mics. It shows that people are going up there with hammering out material, and like I'm not knocking it. I just don't know the purpose of doing it all the time. You know what I mean? Like it's just like unless you just love that bit so much, you just love doing it that much and shit. And like I said before, this is not a knock against the open micers here. This is something I knew I would see in comedy and shit. I like doing comedy. I don't like watching comedy, and like I like doing comedy like when I'm up there and shit, but like I don't like the process of waiting around and get up there. So it's just, there's stuff I like and don't like about it. But like what I like about comedy the most is like it gives me something to do. You know what I mean? Like it gives me something to push towards. Like it gets me out of the house doing something around people and shit. Like that's, and like doing my craft. Like that's what I like the most. I'm thankful to be part of the Austin comedy scene right now. Like I'm not trying to shit on it and stuff. And I think the right people are gravitating here, and I think a lot of people that I've met are mad funny. I've seen people with funny sets and stuff. So I'm not in any way trying to knock the comedy scene out here. Like, and it was the first thing I noticed when Kill Tony moved down here. Like I thought, first thing I noticed was, oh shit, the comedians there are actually funny. And then you see like mad people like gravitating towards here after that, and it feels like the right people have gravitated here. And like it's what was I gonna say? I don't know. But yeah, I like the Austin comedy scene. Like it's just and I like going around and being surrounded by stand-up comedy as the center thing, rather than going out to bars and just nothing being the center focal point. You know what I mean? Like, so that's that. And then what I was gonna say about, I was just talking about like mental health, like because there's just like another shooting not that long ago. It's all this, and it ties it to comedy, because like I say, it gives people purpose. Like purpose fuels us as human beings, and like outside of raising our children, people don't have much purpose other than keeping their career going and just keeping their career going. So I feel like, but their career doesn't give you altruistic purpose. Like, so I think that living unfulfilled existences is the reason that you see so many people with so many side effects. And that's why I don't think depression is the illness. I think depression is the side effect of living unfulfilled lives. I don't think kids shooting up schools is the illness. I think it's unfulfilled lives already, and they're misdirected, and it's a different type of person. It's a person who is capable of hitting rock bottom and saying they don't care going out shooting. And it's unfortunate that kids are getting to that level. But it's the same lack of purpose, and like that's the extreme, but it's the same lack of purpose that has people caught up in politics and hating the other side so much. It's blue. The Donald Trump was ruining my life. Red Biden is the worst thing ever. Like, and every single day focusing on that. It's the same lack of purpose that gets the Karens complaining in restaurants. It's the same lack of purpose that gets that I turn to art. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where I put it all. Like, we all turn to different outlets and stuff, but it's all like a lack of purpose. And I think it's because we're used to, if you wake up and like every single day you're trying to survive, you have purpose. Survival is your purpose. When survival has been carved out for you by existence, then people just like, they lack purpose and stuff. And like, society times become softer, and like people just, there's so many more places that people misdirect some people just get mad at the people around. It's just, there's so many places that people misdirect their energy and stuff, but it's all like a lack of purpose, and then not getting what you want out of life and stuff. Like, so I think those two things combined is why everyone turns to where they turn to, and everyone calls it mental illness. I don't think it's mental illness. I think it's a life struggle. I think it's the struggle of existence that happens when existence gets to where it is right now. You know what I mean? Where there's just so many people, and you're so far removed from what survival is and stuff. And like, I love the fact that we have a softer existence, because I don't want to live a hard, rugged life. But like, you have to understand that the balance that creates is what you guys see reflecting on the surface and stuff. And like, you have to try to figure out how to give people purpose, and how to make people get what they want out of life. Because when people don't feel purpose and not getting what they want out of life, that's when externally they reflect other stuff. You know what I mean? That's what it is. And can't stress enough, the open micers down here are good. Yeah, I like the open micers in Austin, Texas. Not like, I think there's mad funny people. Like, I meet people every single day that are funnier than me, yo. Like, and I like comedy. Like, I mean, I like comedy from perspective of doing it. I just don't understand how so many people pay to go. Like, how so many people view comedy as what they do for fun. Still have a couple more minutes, so I kind of want to figure something else to hit upon on the open mic scene. But yeah, I should be going out more than I do, because like, I'm just lazy, yo. Like, I don't want to leave the apartment, yo. Like, and that's another thing. Like, I don't enjoy dragging myself out of the crib all day, every day. So like, if just doing stand-up comedy was doing open mics, like, I wouldn't do it for extended period of time without reaching anything. Like, I'm trying to obviously reach something, you know what I mean? But like, a lot of people in stand-up comedy, you don't see people saying they've been doing stand-up comedy for like 5-6 years. You more hear people say they've been doing it for like 2 or 3 years at the open mic level. If people don't level up, like, I guess they either level up or they stop. And like, it's easier to level up in comedy than it is in music, because you can see the levels with comedy. You couldn't see the levels with music. When I start rapping, like, everyone's in the same boat. Like, everyone's trying to figure out how to get that spark. Yeah, so that's the podcast. Star Part, trip of a lifetime. Let's fucking